Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being on this session today. We truly appreciate the time that you're taking out of your busy schedules. Well, welcome to Year End Pivoting for Financial Success. This is a great month for you to review and reflect where you are and where you have been in this very difficult time in our economy. And we know that things have unexpectedly arisen in your life this year. And we knew some of them are probably really exciting things, and some of them might have been more challenging things to your financial situation. So, what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring this session to you to help you evaluate your year, but also to plan into 2026 so that you can potentially be more prepared to be able to handle different fluctuations in your finances. I do want to say a very short note about AI note takers this morning. We will have to have you disable those. We do have a fantastic handout that we're going to be sending you after the session. But if you could disable that, I would really appreciate it. Otherwise, we will disable that for you in a couple of minutes. All right. So, one of the things that I wanted to share with you was that no matter where you are in your current financial situation, Summit Credit Union is here to help you with financial coaching, to give you the tips, tools, and resources that you need to be able to make your finances the way that you want them. We have webinars on demand on our website, we have blogs and tips and tools, and of course, we have our new financial wellness tools inside our online banking. So, if you have not had a chance to check those out, I highly recommend them. I use them myself. All right, let's start with a little bit of a poll in the chat. All right, so we do have a question that I want to pose to you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your financial year? Now, I did want to tell you that the chat is completely private. You are only chatting with me today. So feel free to put inside the chat that 1 to 10, 1 being poor, 10 being I had a really, really good year. So let's just spend a minute and see how that looks. All right. So we are going to just look at those. All right. We have some threes, some sevens, some sixes, some eights, a one. All right. Hey, oh, congratulations. Someone just said that they paid off a ton of debt this year. Congratulations. I am so excited for you. That is fantastic. All right, so we're kind of all over the board, and that's actually what I really expected to see today. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing that with me. And let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about how you can check in on your year, how you can reflect, how you can reprioritize, and how you can set a new plan. All right, so those are the 4 things we're going to talk about. How do you check in and recap your year? This is something that we've put together in a couple of pages. It is a handout that I can provide to you. It is called our year-end financial checklist. If you would like a copy of this, and these are just screenshots based on different pieces of the actual document that I have for you. If you want that, would you just put your name in the chat or just say checklist, and I can send that to you at the end of our session today. So our very first strategy is all about checking in and recapping. It's kind of like thinking about, hey, how did I do? What ran through my credit cards? What ran through my checking accounts? What money did I take out of my savings? So I want you to also think about any financial goals that you had. Now, another person said that they paid off their truck 3 months early and they only have 1 credit card left. That is fantastic. Those are some goals that you're doing great with. So I really appreciate that. So if you had a goal of paying off your debt, adding to your savings account, think about what that meant for you this year. And I want you to reflect on the handout when I send it to you, although you can do this on a piece of paper or on your phone right now. Where are you in the progress to those financial goals? Are you 50%? Are you 75%? Are you only 10% because some things happened? It's important to evaluate and look at those goals and to be able to think about, hey, how are you going to move that percent higher in the coming months or in the coming year? The next thing that I really want you to think about is the things that really set us back. And so, what were unexpected bills or repairs or things that you didn't think would come up. Maybe you had to take a tree down in your lot. Maybe you had a nail in your tire. Maybe you realized that your air conditioner didn't work for whatever reason in the beginning of summer and had to do some repairs on that. So anytime you're thinking about those unexpected expenses, I also want you to think about the cost and kind of, what happened there. Now, I also want you to think about the big, fun, unexpected spending that you might have done. Now, I'm not judging you in any way, shape, or form. These are the fun things that happen to your life. I mean, maybe they were concert tickets, maybe it was a weekend away with friends that you hadn't saved for. How did that impact your finances? And could we create in the future some sort of savings account that wouldn't make you so stressed out about that, or would make you more calm and peaceful about taking advantage of those types of opportunities? That might have even been a spur of the moment home improvement project. So all of these things, when you take them into account, again, it's important to put the dollar amount to it and also how you paid for that. Did you pay for it with, your current paychecks for that month? Did you put it on a credit card, meaning that you borrowed for it? Or did you take it out of a savings account? And those are the types of things that when you reflect on your year and how money is flowing through your finances and through your life, they're really important pieces of information to know. All right, the second thing I wanted to share with you is that reviewing a budget or a saving and a spending plan is really important. And a lot of us, we don't budget on the monthly basis theoretically when you're thinking about your big picture, okay? We might be budgeting our groceries, we might be budgeting some discretionary spending, but really we want to look at our big picture. And that's when you might want to say, hey, what worked? What didn't work when it comes to your budget or your saving and your spending plan? We also have a budget worksheet that I would love to send to you. It is a starting point. No matter where you manage your money or how you manage your money, looking at your income, your expenses, how much money goes into your savings accounts every month, and then also your spending habits and the limits that you have set in specific budget categories will be able to help you chart a plan moving forward. I also want you to pay attention that if you are using Summit's savings accounts, meaning that you have multiple savings accounts under your main account number, and you can label those, okay? Maybe those are for car repairs, maybe those for a vacation, maybe it's for holiday spending. I want you to just take in and think about how much money is actually going into those accounts. Do you have more than enough money in those accounts for those things, or are you a little short? What are the fluctuations with that? And that's going to be an important thing to help you budget as well. Now, when we're thinking about an emergency fund, thinking about what that balance should be for you and the things that you consider emergencies. There are some short-term emergencies and there are some long-term emergencies. So it really is the fact that we want you to be contributing to a savings account for emergencies on a regular basis. Now, if you would like that budget worksheet, I would be pleased to send that to you along with that checklist. If you want that budget worksheet, if you could just put budget worksheet in the chat, I will add that to the checklist when I send that to you. All right, besides, hey, do I have savings accounts that I'm automatically transferring money into? What worked and what didn't work with my budget? I will tell you that just from my perspective, the amount of streaming services that our household has, depending on what we like to watch, can get out of hand really quickly. Just as an example, last night we were to watch a football game, and some different things had changed with our current carrier, and so we needed to make sure that happened. And it is football season, and so we have, I think we have Sunday ticket, and so that's changing our finances during the month during football season. So whenever we're looking at unexpected expenses or planning for your entire year, it is also important for you to be thinking about, hey, I didn't budget for NFL ticket. What am I going to need to do next year so that I don't feel the pinch in my budget when we sign up for that next year? That's just one example of how you can determine something that worked or didn't work in your budget. All right, the next thing is I want you to think about and look at your loans. This isn't a really important thing to do every single year. Now, in the beginning of the year, interest rates were higher than they are right now. Right now, we're seeing interest rates getting lower, which is always fantastic. So, what you want to be able to do is you want to look at your loans and write them all down and say, hey, what are my current interest rates? How long do I have to pay on these fixed loans? And then I also want you to do the same thing for any credit cards that you have as well. What are the balance on those loans? Excuse me, credit cards. If you contributed $50 more a month, $100 more a month, how quickly could you pay off those revolving credit cards? And again, revolving credit cards are the thing that tends to hurt a credit score the most. And so thinking about, hey, how do I target and pay off some of those credit cards in a systematic way to plan to be able to do that for the next year? Maybe you tackle 2 or 3 credit cards in the first 3 months of the year. Or maybe you just target one credit card in the first 3 months of the year. Thinking and planning those things out for your year is going to be super helpful for you. So I also have this worksheet kind of called our debt structure worksheet. If you would like that worksheet to go along with the budget worksheet as well as the year-end worksheet, I would be pleased to send that to you. I don't want to overwhelm you with too many worksheets, but they're really great for you to kind of be thinking about and reflecting on your finances. So if you do want that debt structure worksheet, just put debt structure or debt worksheet in the chat. I will include that for you with the other two when I send those out to you today. All right, tips to reflect on your finances. I've given you quite a few already, but there's 3 things that I really want to share with you. Number 1, I want you to list your achievements. If you paid for something out of a savings account and didn't have to put it on credit or borrow for it, I would like you to congratulate yourself. That is fantastic. I am so proud of you. What we want to be able to do to increase our financial wellness is break financial cycles and habits that don't serve us or cost us more money. So it's important for us to identify barriers that are holding us kind of back from putting money in our savings account. Could it be that we're spending too much of our discretionary spending? Maybe we're not meal planning close enough and buying a lot of groceries and then there's a lot of waste. Maybe we're simply not paying attention to some of the things that are our wants versus our needs. So identify what those things might be that are holding you back from achieving the fun things that you want to do or just achieving your financial goals. Maybe it's even buying a house. All right, then I want you to think about and determine what are your financial goals for next year? 1, 2, 3 different financial goals. If it is to pay off a credit card or 2 credit cards, I want it to be very specific for you. I don't want you to just say, I'm going to pay off my credit cards and put more money in my savings. That budget worksheet and that debt structure worksheet are going to help you put some numbers to those goals and timeframes. Again, can you pay something off in 3 months, or can you in 3 months put $1,000 in a savings account? Working really, really hard to change your financial habits to set you up for the rest of the year. Now, remember, whenever you do a budget, you can change that budget whenever you want to, depending on the goals that you have. So example, for 3 months, you might cut back on X, Y, and Z, but then you add X and Y back to your budget for the next 2 months. And then maybe when you achieve your goal, then you add Z back in. And that's how we have to kind of think about managing our money. So another thing I wanted to share with you was how to reprioritize. And that was kind of the lead in to this next part. And this is just a sample budget worksheet that I wanted to share with you. Again, however you budget or however you do your budgeting in your house, reprioritizing is looking at what's going on right now and then moving money around to different priorities. You're taking money away from one spot and you're putting it in another spot. A lot of people are like, gosh, I'm denying myself. But really, it's changing your priority based on what's important to you and the time of year that it's happening. And then also being able to set yourself up for success over a long period of time so you don't have that short-term financial stress because you're planning for these things in advance. All right? So, another thing that I wanted to share with you is to set that new plan. Once you've reflected, once you've reprioritized, it's creating that new plan. It's really thinking about how much am I taking out of one spot, putting that back into my budget and rearranging it and making some commitments to yourself. Now, these decisions are going to be based on the information that you have, based on how you want to reduce your spending or increase your spending in another way, right? It's kind of this like, ebb and flow of your finances. Sometimes it can be really hard to stay committed to those financial goals. And so that's when you need to put reminders in place. Or maybe it's a picture of a goal that you put in your living room or in your kitchen to remind yourself to meal plan on a Sunday and go grocery shopping versus kind of randomly put meals together and just go grocery shopping whenever you have the idea to. So don't procrastinate planning. I know that it's November. I know that whoever is celebrating the holidays out there right now, you're going to have a lot of things going out of your checkbook or being put on credit cards or being taken out of your savings account. I fully acknowledge that. Having this session now helps you set up and think about your spending between now and December, and then also setting yourself up for success in January and February and March. The decisions that you make now in holiday spending and all of the temptations that might be out there with Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we may be purchasing on wants versus needs, and that's completely okay. But it is important to prioritize all of those types of things and remember what your financial goals really are. And that is setting a new plan. We don't want you to be stressed out and worried with your financial situation based on the decisions that you made now in November and December. We want you to continue to move forward and not just think about it in January based on what you did in the last 2 months. It's being very mindful of everything to set yourself up for success. So, on that note, I would love for you to think about for the next minute or so, I'm just going to give you some private, thoughtful time. What is your top priority to pivot your finances for 2026? And I want you to kind of write down how it's going to make you feel when you achieve that. Maybe put some dollar amounts to that, and then also put a time frame to that. I'm going to give you a minute to do that while I look in the chat and see if we have any questions or comments. I love that someone said, please send me all the documents. These are really going to help me stay focused. I want to say I really appreciate that comment because even if you don't use them to their fullest, they're going to help you prioritize and take steps to be able to do that. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so excited. There are so many people who want the budget worksheets. Oh, I love it. And the debt consolidation worksheet, the debt structure worksheet, excuse me, and our year to focus. Oh, these are fantastic. They're so great. Thank you, everyone. All right. I would love to know if you're willing to share. And remember, the chat is private. What are you thinking? What's your top priority to pivot your finances? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Oh, I love this. Someone said this is perfect timing. Oh, I'm so glad. Spending differently to pay off a credit card. Wouldn't it be cool if you could actually pay off a credit card during the holiday season? If you are celebrating the holidays, I think that would be great. To not overspend this holiday season, absolutely. And that's when you really have to say, hey, can I make a list? Can I put a dollar amount to everyone? Can I have conversations with my loved ones about what the holiday season is going to look like? Last year was the first year that my family, my extended family, we picked names. And it was actually more fun than trying to figure out how to make everything equal and get everybody a present and what those presents are. And it was actually really fun. And oh, I love the menu planning. That is fantastic. Good, good, good. Remember to put snacks on. Snacks are super important. Let's see now. Let's see. Oh, yes. Someone says they're going to relook at their medical expenses. Absolutely. We have a lot going on right now with healthcare and medical expenses. It is open enrollment time. You might be finding that your deductible is increased or some of your copays have increased. Again, great time to factor those types of things into some sort of budget so that you know exactly, how much less you might have coming in your paycheck based on an increase of premiums if that's happening. And then also if you have a $3,000 deductible and you need to divide that in 26 paychecks or 12 paychecks, how much do you need to put aside to be able to have that money available to you from a savings account versus putting your deductible on a credit card or taking out a loan for that? That is a fantastic, fantastic mention in the comments. Thank you. All right, let's recap. I'm going to be ending a little bit early, but I think that's okay. This is a session that we just wanted to get you thinking about 2026 and thinking about your year and thinking about how you could plan a little bit differently. So we talked about how you can check in and recap that year. We talked about how you can reflect on your finances and kind of what to look at. We talked about how to reprioritize and pivot some of your finances based on your financial goals. And then also we encouraged you to set a new plan and look for those spending limits, but knowing that, hey, you can hold back for a little bit to be able to do more in the future so that you can reduce your financial stress and increase your financial wellness. So I will stay on if anybody has some specific questions for the next few minutes, but I wanted to say thank you so much for being on our session today. I hope it has empowered you to think a little bit differently about 2026 and about how you can change your financial situation to however you want it to look. So thank you so much, everyone. And again, I will be reviewing the chat and I will be sending those things to you before the end of the day. And I really appreciate you taking the time. Again, as always, if you need to get a hold of me and anyone in our financial empowerment department here at the credit union, we have an email at summitfinancialeducation@summitcreditunion.com. Because you are a member of Summit Credit Union and you have the opportunity to meet with a financial coach in one of our branches, either virtually or in person. And we can connect you with someone at a branch near you if you would like additional help to be able to prioritize your year for 2026, or to look at how to open savings accounts that may be offering you a little bit more high yield, or to be able to refinance some loans to maybe alleviate some of the stress on your financial situation. So we're available to you as a member of Summit to be able to help you increase your financial wellness and reduce your financial stress. All right, I'm just going to see if there's any questions. Thank you so much for your kind comments in the chat. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Be well.